Alright everyone, yesterday there was a Zoom call where Kamala Harris was talking to a group of white women because it's very, very important that race be considered in every aspect within politics. And I watched a few snippets of it and I was just thinking, okay, a bunch of cat moms that were already going to vote for Joe Biden anyway. And supposedly this is a huge victory for the Harris campaign because she's getting white women aboard. They were already going to vote for Joe. Generally speaking, depending on the sub-demographic. And so, they raised a couple $1 million and this was heralded as a huge success. And Kamala's really got that momentum. It's funny because I was told that there was Joe-mentum before and then he fucking got forced out of the race by his own party. We've seen this particular propagandistic line before. We're not going to hear the end of it. Supposedly, she's got momentum, she's got energy and enthusiasm behind her, and all of this other sloganeering bullshit. I came to the conclusion that Kamala Harris is nothing more than the sound and the fury, signifying nothing. When she speaks, the things that she says often have literally no meaning whatsoever. This is not going to translate well to a debate, for example. When she's talking to other females, it's basically abortion, Trump wants you barefoot in the kitchen, Handmaid's Tale, and stuff like that. But that's not reality. Trump is indeed the reasonable one on issues related to women's rights, and Harris is just sloganeering and slurring her speech as much as Joe Biden sometimes, actually. That's probably because she went to, Elizabeth Warren's vineyard too many times. She visited Nancy Pelosi's refrigerator collection. I'm sure that she didn't show off the one that had all the booze in it, because we know that she's loaded 24/7. It's cringe. Hilarious cringe. White women for Harris. White women, and they're also doing a push for black men. There was literally an article the other day. It was collated on RCP, and I read it, and I had a cheap chuckle at it. Black men need to get behind Kamala Harris. I don't think that that's going to go over so well. I will not list the exact reason why on a video that I'm uploading to YouTube, but if you have ever met certain groups of people before and interacted with them for a significant length of time, you'd know why that's not going to go over so particularly well. By the way, Kamala Harris is not actually black at all. She is half Indian, actually. I know that you want to use the BIPOC blanket label, but there's a difference between somebody from India and somebody from Nigeria. The general colloquial usage of black in U.S. parlance, according to the racial schema that tends to be used, is that black means of African extraction, whether born in the United States or you immigrated or something, like somebody, maybe your ancestors were slaves, maybe they were free, whatever the case may be. But it's not the same as coming from India. They're two different things. The Democrats love to, and by the way, we should hammer them on this because, their person of color label is basically nothing more than a recyclage of the 70s colored people label, which is generally considered to be derogatory. It's interesting how the Democrats love to try to appropriate derogatory things. Like when they call Clarence Thomas an Uncle Tom because he doesn't agree with them ideologically. He left the plantation. Bad boy. Spanking. And stuff like that. It's like a bunch of fucking wasp nimbyists, basically. It's cringe. White women for Harris. Who gives a fuck what white women care about? Not a white woman. I don't give a fuck what white men care about either, by the way. I care what I care about. That's the American way, individualism. I don't give a fuck about your racism or sex or anything like that. Oh my God, you're a straight American and he's a gay American, so you should be in opposite camps or something like that. The Democrats love to split people apart. I wonder why our country is kind of falling apart at the seams at the moment. Could it be that the civic togetherness and understanding that we enjoyed up through the fucking 1990s has been completely shattered? You talk a big game about segregation. Which party was it that passed the Crookshank decision? Which party was promoting that? Oh, wait, it was the Democrats, because they wanted to disarm former slaves. Piece by piece, you get the rabbit hole goes so deep that people don't even want to tunnel in and actually see the whole thing because it's just so overwhelming sometimes, I think. It's cringe. White women for Harris. Again, who cares? These were individuals who were already going to vote generally for the Democratic Party. These aren't swing voters. These are problem glasses, pink-haired nut jobs that would vote for any Democratic candidate you put before them. They would vote for Buttigieg. They would vote for Kelly. They would have voted for Newsom. They would vote for Whitmer. They would vote for Hochul. They would vote for, goddamn, if Al Gore ran again, they would vote for him too. Simply because they happen generally to be political and ideological partisans. 99% of the people that watched the Zoom call had already made up their mind who to vote for. Hell, in some states, I think probably some of them have already early voted. I don't know exactly when that begins in the average state. I imagine in the blue states it exists earlier. And total cringe. Who gives a fuck? You're not changing any minds. Their minds were already made up. Supposedly, because this was a record-breaking Zoom call, other than the botting, I'm sure, that happened as well, so that they could brag about it in the press, supposedly it's some great victory. It's not a great victory. And supposedly it's supposed to concern us, and the point is to demoralize and blackpill people who oppose Kamala Harris, by the way, to demoralize us into thinking, well, she's going to win. Trump has been bested. Yeah, Trump has been drumped. No, they're trying to fool you, actually, at the moment. The best thing you can do, in war or in combat in general, is fool your enemy. To entrap them. To elude them. To give them illusions. It's like watching the ancient Mayans when they would put up a mannequin with bees in the head, and you'd come up behind it and smash it in the head with your club, and then you'd get killed by bees or something like that. By the way, I had a dream about that last night. It was very interesting. It's an illusion. They're trying to play basically they're basically being like Houdini right now. They're trying to convince people that Kamala Harris is inevitable and, oh my God, America's going to go down the toilet and shit like that. No, not if you harvest some ballots and knock on some doors. I've donated to Trump's political campaign through WinRed. Twice, actually. You can look that up on the FEC if you don't believe me. My name is actually there. And donated several times. I promote Trump. I do the best that I can to try to de-blackpill people. I see some commentators that are like being very dour and blackpilly, and I just can't respect that. That's not the right way to go. You've got to fight, as Trump literally told you after he got shot in the ear. By the way, the FBI coming out and confirming he was actually struck by a bullet or fragments of a bullet. And no, it was not a piece of the podium that struck him in the ear on the other side of his head. I pointed that out yesterday. It was pretty self-evident, but the FBI pretended it was up in the air. So Chris Wray should probably resign in disgrace. He won't, though. Not until Trump gets back in and fires him. This is cringe. White women for Harris. Okay, again, why do I give a fuck? Why would I care? That's like saying like white men for Harris. Okay, you don't speak for me. I speak for my fucking self. Go screw off. That's about all. Peace out.